Edge.com with your weekly fantasy baseball game key. In head-to-head formats, each weekly opponent should be scouted on Sundays, if possible, to give you time for a bit of contemplation and research before developing your strategy for the week. First, examine your opponent's pitching staff to calculate the number of starts that are currently available on that roster. Any starting pitchers that are scheduled on Monday or Tuesday should be counted on to make 2 starts. All other starters are likely to have 1 start. The cumulative starts for your opponent's pitchers should be compared to the number of starts that you have available on your roster. If you have less starts, you can stream selectively to make up the difference. If you have more or the same, you may elect to play it straight up, adjusting if necessary as the week progresses. As for closes, you ideally want to have a 1-to-1 matchup. On offense, it's essential to check your active roster on travel days, which will be Monday and Thursday by late April. Make sure that you have an equal or greater number of at-bats for the week than your opponent by planning your offensive strategy to account for players on your roster with off days due to travel. Your opponent will face the same dilemma, so you can gain a significant at-bat advantage by planning ahead for travel days. In rotisserie formats, on the other hand, your managing should be skewed towards the long haul. There are many ways to manage and analyze rotisserie teams, as there are people who participate, but there are certain basic principles that almost always lead to success in the long run, and they simply boil down to 2 key points. Be patient, stay informed. Simple to say is not always simple to do. Some weeks test patience more than others, especially when point categories are within reach. Avoid the tendency to overmanage in these circumstances. Stick with your master plan. After a bad day or two, always wait at least 48 hours before making major changes. About 80 to 85% of your roster should be relatively static throughout the entire season. Remember, it's a long season, and excessive roster turnover in rotisserie formats invariably leads to mistakes, especially in those leagues that count maximum innings, and missed opportunities in the long run. Some risks have to be taken when injuries and/or the inevitable poor performance of a player forces your hand. But patience with good players in rotisserie formats typically leads to great results. As a reminder, resist making roster moves after a bad day, and being informed about the status and performance of available players will make you a formidable manager in any rotisserie format. This is Joe DeMayo with FantasyPlayersEdge.com, making sure that you get the edge and win your league.